Hey everybody, this is Brian Burkford with Altitude Dog Training. Hope you're having a great day. Very excited to be back with you for the fourth installment of Transform Your Dog, Transform Yourself, which is based off of my book, Transformational Dog Training. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also our e-newsletter by visiting altitudedogtraining.com. But let's get started. The theme this week is celebrating little victories along the way. And so when we first look at this, we want to put it in the context of working with dogs, and it's so important because we all have certain things that we want to accomplish with our dogs. We might have an end goal for them, and we have to know what that picture really looks like when it's finished. And if we have a picture of the finished product, at least in our head, and we are very clear on where our dog is at right now with whatever behavior that we desire to teach them, what we can do is leave little breadcrumbs along the way, so we can just work backward and break the process down into like small bite-sized steps and work toward the finished product. So I hope that makes sense. You always take what you want to accomplish, you break it down into manageable chunks, and you work one piece at a time, and that's the best way to do it. In dog training, this is technically called successive approximations. We don't train the entire behavior at one time. If you're teaching a formal retrieve, you teach like 27 different behaviors in isolation, and you gradually assemble them all together when those are all put together to the finished product, but it has to be one at a time first. So I hope that that makes sense. I'm going to have you guys look at a video here real quick, and this is my bulldog, Britt, and the first video you're going to see is him sort of toward more the beginning of his training, and one of the steps when we're training the recall for flyball, which is a dog sport if you're not familiar with it. It's super fun. And then the second clip is going to be the finished product, right? Like the end product when he's actually competing in a relay team at a race, at a competition. So I hope that you enjoy this video. Okay, we're back. So I hope you really enjoy those videos. And did you notice in the first one, we were just working the recall. You saw the little sort of lane markers on the side, the little fences that were keeping him on the straight and narrow, so to speak. And the only thing we were practicing is getting him excited to come and jump back over the hurdles, but there's barriers on the side so he can't run around, and we kind of control the situation. And that's just an example of him, not at the very beginning of the training process, but a certain piece of it that we would isolate and teach, okay? And then the second clip, obviously, with him in a race, super fun. And I must tell you, I'm really proud of him. He, for about a week, was the #1 English Bulldog in the country in that particular sport, and guess who trained him? Not me. My wife is actually a really good trainer, and she actually put that all together, so I had nothing to do with that, and I can take none of the credit. But anyway, I hope that that makes sense. You guys always want to make it doable, achievable. You want to break things down, make it simple for your dog to do, and don't be so concerned with, gosh, you know, I really need it. People get so frustrated because they feel like a dog should be making quantum leaps all the time, and that just doesn't happen. When you learn a new skill, unless it's really sloppy, you have to make it something that's in small chunks. So I hope that makes sense. And then moving into the people side of things, I think that we need to remember to celebrate, and sometimes we do that really well with our dogs. You saw that in the video with Britt, that we were really excited for him, that we made that very engaging. We celebrated when he won. Gina played tug with him, my wife Gina, and we made that a great process, very engaging for him. And for ourselves, sometimes along the way, we just feel like we need to grind it out, and like when we get to the end, we're gonna celebrate. That's just a total buzzkill. I mean, that's such a killjoy. It really is. A lot of the reason we don't gain as much momentum as I feel like we'd like to is we feel like we have to achieve the end goal, and we almost use like guilt and self-punishment to get there. And we might celebrate once in a while, but man, if you could learn to celebrate more, even when you have thoughts in the right direction. Again, with dogs, we talk about shaping behaviors and rewarding successive approximations. So when we talked about where you're at, where your dog's at now, here's the end picture. We celebrate the little victories along the way. We don't just celebrate when they get over here. And we need to do that with ourselves. I know I've been really guilty of this in the past, and I'm working on this constantly to make sure that I give myself credit, give myself a pat on the back, to encourage myself, because it fuels the effort. And so I'd encourage you to do the same, that if you have a big task ahead of you this week, just take one this week, and it doesn't have to be a monumental task, just something that's going to take a bit of effort. I would encourage you not to look at the end picture and get overwhelmed, because that will slow down momentum like nothing else will. I would encourage you instead to take that task and think like, okay, how can I break this down into manageable pieces? How can I break this down into 4, 5, 6 parts that are very doable? Maybe I'll do part 1 today, and I'll do 1 part each day, and at the end of the week, I'll have this thing completed. And every day as you're working through the process, every little bit of progress you make, celebrate it. Do something. Reward yourself, incentivize yourself, because it's going to build momentum for itself. I think sometimes we think, wow, the real way to build momentum is, again, to just light a fire under ourselves, and sometimes that's really appropriate and it's very much needed, but I think if we would celebrate more like we do with our dogs, if we're doing our job properly, we wouldn't need as much pressure on ourselves. So I hope that that makes sense to you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I wanted to go scriptless this week. I've had notes before, and I just felt like I want to let it rip and kind of come from the gut, and I hope it came through all right. So anyway, give me your feedback, stay in touch. You can contact me at brian@altitudedogtraining.com. But I look forward to seeing you next time, and I hope you have an awesome week. Take care.